Sody. The newest thing. So every drink you get at Crave is either Dr. Pepper, Coke / Diet Coke, Sprite, or Mountain Dew. It's like those four. Everyone's sleeping on root beer. I made a root beer with vanilla and coconut.
Okay.
Dude, Jenna's obsessed with it. Every time she takes a sip, she just turns to me and goes, "It's so good." Like every single time. She's like, "I can't stop it. It's so good. It's good."
I mean, when I was a bartender, I used to just do root beer and vanilla all the time. Just it tastes like a vanilla.
Yeah, just one pump of coconut. Just
sorry, root beer and vanilla. Tastes like a root beer float, and yeah, I would just do that. I didn't even think about coconut because I had all the syrups back there, so I just like make whatever I want.
Yeah, it's like dirty soda. Jenna said I should call it a dirty beer. I don't think that's going to catch on.
Dirty beer.
Dirty
coconut. No, I like what you called it.
Cocoa beer.
Cocoa beer.
Cocoa beer.
Yeah.
All right, let's try this shit. Let's see if we can get through this.
Okay, here we go.
You all loaded up with the intro?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, you've got some tricky ones.
No, that's going to be bad.
You guys, it's Next Fest Steam.
You mean Steam Fest next?
Fest next Steen.
Steen Clean Fets.
Flexed Steen Nets?
No. Now hold up, y'all. It's Rexed Flexed Clean.
Clean Fleps Neps.
I think we got it.
Oh, we definitely got it.
I think we got it.
Demo.
Dude, first take, best take. That's
remixed.
You've just logged into the 3-Bit Gamer Show. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD.
This is Peterson.
This is Jenna. Sorry, I'm here. Hi.
Right, she'll get there.
She's here. And we're doing some Next Fest this week.
We're doing so much Next
Clean
Fest.
Flep Snaps.
Yep, next Fling Clean.
Clean Flip Neps. Yeah, whatever.
There's no nips.
Well,
kind of some neps.
What games did you guys play? We didn't do the Sex Fest again, did we? I didn't do that this time.
That's all Jenna and I did. Played all 1,300 sex
Jenna
games.
played a lot of dong-based games.
Dong Slayer.
I thought, no.
Live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news. All right, our news this week is brought to us by Crave Cookies. Crave Cookies is this cookie shop here in everywhere. Here in the United States. Go to cravecookies.com. Check out your locations, where they may be coming next. We just opened a location in St. George, Utah. So you guys are in southern Utah. Oh. Finally, you are being serviced by the fine folks at Crave Cookies. Next up is Lakeland, Florida.
Ooh,
just outside of balmy Tampa. You know.
Do you get to go to either of those?
Yeah, I have to go to Lakeland. But you guys, the thing that's coolest about Crave Cookies is that they have a new menu every single week, and every Friday you go in there and they have a new 5 to 6 cookies, and we tell you on Tuesday when this episode drops what the next Friday's cookies are going to be coming up on this week's menu. Obviously, we've got the chocolate chip. The monthly, which is the carrot cake. Honestly, I don't know why. I thought it was for Easter, but that's next month. What does March have to do with carrots?
Spring? I don't know.
Maybe he Trent couldn't decide between this one and another one for April, so he's like, I'll just do it in March.
Trent saw the shredded carrot prices and was like, oh my God, they're at a historic low. Go.
Get the shredded carrots.
Samoa. Which has like an actual Samoa on top of it, as if it's not Samoa-y enough.
Like an actual like I was like an actual Samoan.
It's like we bake and decorate the big brother, and then we just stick the little brother right on top of it.
Perfect.
I don't know why. Nutella Cinnarol, the grasshopper. You guys like that minty chocolate? Ooh,
yeah.
Trent must be doing like
Girl Scout cookie
week. And then we also have the Irish cream cheesecake Dude, it's Mint Week. Jenna's gonna be psyched. Mint Week. All right, get down to Crave Cookies and get Mint Week. After his studio was closed down, the co-director of Visions of Mana has launched a studio where management takes responsibility for bad results. Two words, good luck.
Yeah.
This is so the developer that was behind Visions of Mana was called Owaku
Oka.
We're nailing it today. Uka Studios, they made Visions of Mana, which have you heard of that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that studio was closed down because of huge investment cuts from both, I believe, Tencent and NetEase. I think they both had fingers in this, and they both pulled funding on non-Chinese game development. This is in Japan, and so the studio shuttered. So the co-director, Kenji Ozawa, decided he's going to start a new studio called Studio Sasankwa?
Sasankwa? I don't know.
We're not having the best night. And the idea is that they will create smaller games developed in Unreal, and then they'll work their way up to larger PC and console games. So kind of taking like a pretty reasonable, realistic roadmap here. The article goes on to say that he saw a lot of times where management didn't take responsibility for a project, even though that they are ultimately responsible for doing everything. And then when they're not successful, the creators, the game developers, are laid off while management is often left unscathed. So more or less every single thing we say on this podcast for the last like 3 years is what he's reflecting. That's why I thought this was cool, because it, for me, it's just personally validating, honestly, that this is something that's not only being recognized by us, because dude, we're just two idiots with a podcast. And sometimes I feel like I'm just like screaming into the void. Like, does nobody get this? Are you fucking serious? Like, how long can we do this? This is so unsustainable, where you have people, the executives and the management teams at these game studios doing all these stupid things, making terrible decisions, and then they get to stay on. And honestly, usually get promoted and moved around and move into like leadership roles, CEO positions. And the developers are just laid off and gutted until you end up with a situation where a studio doesn't have any like experienced developers, but all the management, they've been dicking around in games for 15, 20 years. Look at Bobby Kotick. He's been in games for 30 years. How many gaming developers' careers has Bobby Kotick ended? How many game devs has he buried? And he just kept weaseling his way up to the top his whole fucking career. That's all he did.
And one of the crazy things about like those types of guys that you're talking about, at this point, I don't see them as like great game developers, right? There are some guys who have been at Nintendo forever, who have their fingers in dozens of games, and they're incredible. That's not this. We've got these Bobby Kotick guys who got lucky, I would say. They made a game that was successful, and then that kind of launched the studio into stardom, but they didn't actually like prove themselves as like a successful game maker. They're not making great stories after that because their sequels tend to go downhill. I think that's just what happens. I feel a lot of these guys get lucky and like ended up successful, whereas I think the guys who have their fingers in a million different games, we don't even hear their names so much. We don't know them very well.
Yeah, so this is really cool. I hope Studio Sasankwa is successful in their adventure here. They're saying one quote, the last quote that I wanted to say on the way out from Kenji Ozawa was, "Management needs to protect creators." Yeah, very simple.
Here's what I'll say. There's a little trend. I don't know if you've noticed it. I'm sure you have over the last several weeks of news that we've had. Small studios jumping in and saying, okay, we're recognizing there's a problem. We're going to try something different.
Yeah.
And that's this. And we've seen 3 or 4 of them now just this year. I mean, we're barely into March. And all these studios coming out and saying, we got to try something different. This isn't working. And
Yep.
so that is hopeful that people are like recognizing the problem and actually coming up with solutions instead of being like, yeah, there's a problem. I don't know how to fix it, like whatever, and then ignoring it.
These smaller ships, these smaller studios are much more nimble. They can turn a lot faster. I feel like you've got studios like Activision or Microsoft Game Studios. They're like an aircraft carrier. Take them 4 days to turn left. Like, it is going to be a long time. But if you have more of these studios doing this and finding success, and you keep seeing big games coming out of small studios that are doing unique things like this, it might filter up.
Yeah.
Upcoming game The Bazaar has added a battle pass after promising not to. Then the game's creator mocked Kickstarter backers when they complained.
Oh my god.
Dude, what a good 1-2 punch. This is the
Yeah.
obvious Blursty nominee. I don't really know what, because I kind of was thinking Gamer Rage initially, but the more I read into it, the more I was like, oh my god. This is The Bazaar is an auto battler that's been in development for 7 years. They had a Kickstarter that launched in 2018, which I don't know, 7 years. 2018 seems like 17 years ago, because COVID just like tacked 10 years on everyone's life.
Yeah, solid 5 years everywhere.
Or I guess like sucked it out of us like the Princess Bride machine. But the latest beta patch notes revealed that the introduction of this new battle pass system that on the Kickstarter he promised would never happen, and that you'd have all the cards like at launch. You would never have to buy anything. You just have everything, because the idea is that it wouldn't be pay to win, because you wouldn't have certain cards that were hidden behind whatever monetized system you're using. This game is coming from Raynads. He's a YouTuber and a former
Nads, I believe.
Whatever it is, it's got nads in there. He's a former Hearthstone player, and it sounds like he's like a notorious asshole. Like, that's his reputation. That's his like shtick.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Doesn't that like drain you? If you're like I'm an online personality and my persona is being a cock.
Yeah.
What is that?
Maybe he is a cock.
Yeah, exactly. I guess so. He's just out there being himself. So maybe he is a cock. Anyway, he said this was pretty funny, his responses. So people were pissed, obviously. And I looked into this. That other link I sent, I was just digging through it. It's so much fucking detail that I don't think really matters. The fact of the matter is, like, it's explicitly stated multiple times. He's tweeted about it. He said a lot of things that he's like, oh no, this isn't going to be overly monetized. And then he just snuck this in there. And on his own Discord, here are a couple of great quotes from our boy Raynads. Quote, a great exercise in showing why we should communicate less. I regret doing a patch note video at all this week. It just gives people a day to lie, assume the worst, and doomsay, rather than experience the new content firsthand. Dude. Just experience it. AKA, just give me money. Just go out there and give me money firsthand. What are you doing?
He's saying less communication is his new tactic.
Yeah.
He regrets communicating to his audience. He regrets
putting out a patch note video.
Wow.
What a douche. But it gets worse. Here's another response that he had to in his own Discord to somebody saying something. I was so stressed about monetization over the past few years, but seeing Reddit lose it today lets me breathe a huge sigh of relief. I'm pretty confident we're on the right track now. So I get he's like trolling, but I'm like, here's what's great is that, I mean, myself personally, I don't know about you. I'd never heard of this fucking game.
No.
I think it's kind of niche. I think auto battlers, I almost guarantee Aaron has, because he's kind of in that auto battler world. But it feels to me that most people's first interactions with this game or first knowledge of this game is going to come from this. And it's like, oh, the creator's an asshole who like mocks his fans. I mean, yeah, it's funny, I guess, if you're if you're someone that's like watching YouTube, you're like, oh, I like the drama, but am I gonna pay money for that game because of the drop? No, I'm gonna avoid the game. This guy's a fucking genius. He's gonna be running EA soon, I'm sure. Ray Nads.
He's on his way. He's on the up and up with this type of mentality. He is really
He's got management material written all
his
over him.
personal stock has just gone way up in the minds of several CEOs.
Hey, Raynad, how would you feel about having as many as 4 people underneath you? This is a big promotion, Ray.
Have you got the nads?
Come on,
Nailed it.
Jenna.
I'm sorry.
This is a children's podcast.
Is it?
It is?
Well, we got
Yikes. I have to go and edit a lot of episodes.
start with this one.
I'm sorry to inform you. Welcome to another company reset. Hope you've updated your resume. 'Cause you've just been laid off.
Just one, I think. There's no one left to lay off. That's the thing.
Oh, they're trying. They just can't find them.
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder to do layoffs. It's like hunting endangered animals. They're just harder to find.
I wonder why.
It makes it so much more fun, though.
When you finally get one,
I
oh,
love shooting a rhino. Just like a big fucking animal, like the size of a car. That makes me feel accomplished. Pointing a gun at that thing and shooting it. PlayStation was hit with more layoffs following recent game cancellations. This is mostly coming out of PlayStation-owned studio Visual Arts. An unknown number of staff in San Diego were let go. Probably have more details on it in the coming weeks. It's kind of a general trend that Americans are expensive. But I'm telling you guys, just hold on. We are actively destroying our economy. We're going to be very, very cheap to employ in the next 6 months.
6 months.
When we switch over our whole monetary system to Russian rubles, it's going to be very affordable to have United States tech workers. 80 rubles a day. That's all you need to pay us. We'll be fine.
We'll take it because
that's it,
I can't find any other jobs.
That's all the layoffs. That's all the news. Honestly, I don't know what's going on. Seems like
real light. It's real
like
light.
a calm before the storm.
We got some of these though.
Yeah, some. We got 2 riblets. This is when you order riblets 13 minutes before close. These are the riblets you get.
This is when you're pretty hungry. You wander into Applebee's. You see a couple riblets left in someone's table that they ate off of. You just grab them and leave. That's it. That's where we're at.
Yes, the waiter. Do you guys still have riblets? He's like, we closed down the kitchen, but I think I saw one that fell behind the microwave. Let me go get it. Here's the first one. Split Fiction is the first game for Electronic Arts in 13 years to receive a 90+ point score on Metacritic. 13 years since EA has put out a game. EA, notoriously one of the biggest gaming studios, one of the most storied gaming studios in all of gaming history, hasn't put out a game that cracked 90 in over a decade.
That's crazy.
Well over a decade. That's the Obama administration.
Yeah.
So Hazelight, the studio that made It Takes Two, is behind this game Split Fiction, which scored a whopping 91 on Metacritic. And the last one that they got over 90 was Mass Effect 3.
Wow, that's been a long time.
Which I'm like, was Mass Effect 3? I thought that one was like, the people thought Mass Effect 2 was the best.
People had an issue
right?
with the story, the way it ended. But it was still a good game. Don't get me wrong, good game. Just the ending of the story. It has a 98% positive reviews on Steam, and there's 12,000 reviews. So this game is doing really well. It's another split screen co-op type of game.
Yeah, it's like It Takes Two, but it looks like it's not a shitty story.
Fantasy, you're running around on dragons and stuff like that.
Yeah, It Takes Two, if you guys are wondering, scored 88. So that's, I mean, that game got all sorts of crazy awards. People loved that game. So, yeah, Jenna, you and I should look at Split Fiction. This sounds dope.
Yeah, this looks dope.
Yeah, I hope it is $50. It's so a little pricey.
Is it on Game Pass? No.
No, I just looked.
Suck. Monster Hunter Wilds caused sales of actual cheese naan to skyrocket in Japan.
What?
This is Monster Hunter Wilds, the latest Monster Hunter game, which is a multiplayer game, and there are some cutscenes in which the characters are eating cheesy naan, which is like naan bread. It
Yeah.
has cheese on it that's like so goopy, it's like sliding off of the bread. I don't know. I guess the idea here is the food looks so good in the game that people in Japan, and this is kind of blown out of proportion, but it's mostly just like on Japanese Twitter. People are just posting so many pics of all the different places they're going to get cheesy naan, because it's like shawarma after the Avengers came out. Everyone's like,
yeah. People are like, what's
I
shawarma?
do have to go. And then they're like, shawarma's great. Now I eat shawarma. Cheesy
Yep.
naan. That's what this game
It
did.
does. I just watched the video
Mhm.
that's in the story, and it does look really good. So
Now I want to get it. Maybe I'll make some.
make some cheesy naan. Also, I will say I had some buddies playing that game, and I was on the Discord. I hear them talking, and they spent a lot of time talking about their palicos. If you remember, this is the thing that,
the cat.
yeah, there's just cats that chill at your base, and you can like decorate them. He's like, yeah, my palico's a robot, and like you can just do all sorts of random stuff to them. So look, I love Monster Hunter. The vibe of I don't love Monster Hunter, but I like I appreciate the vibe they have going on.
And I appreciate if you put food in your games that is so good looking that it inspires people to go eat that food in real life.
That's true.
Let's get more of that. Let's do more of that. Okay, do that clip I love.
Dude, it's time for a JD's sales report.
Yeah, it is. JD's sales report. I've got the numbers. That's what I say now.
For what?
I have a t-shirt that says I've got, and on the back it says the, and then I have a t-shirt underneath it that says numbers.
It's like
Wow.
an interactive
So
t-shirt.
deeply layered.
Yeah,
complexity.
and quite literally layered. People have asked me, like, what is your shirt about? And then I like peel it off. I'm like, hold on, they're stuck together. Hold on.
And they're like, I still don't understand what that means. What numbers? What are you talking
I got
about?
the numbers.
But I got him.
Are you an accountant? Like I don't what do we
I've got the numbers.
Oh, thank
I
you.
don't know
Can
Now
I
I
have a
can be more
number?
clear about this. Monster Hunter Wilds, speaking of the devil, has sold over 8 million copies in 3 days. This was a couple
Crazy.
days ago that this was posted. Just for context, Monster Hunter World sold 7.5 million copies in just under 2 months. So this is 8 million in 3 days. I think there's a dearth of games right now. I think
Here's
people
the
are pretty
thing.
fucking hungry for a good game.
Well, and people love Monster Hunter. Like
Yeah.
Monster Hunter fans love Monster Hunter. Like they're nuts about it. This game doesn't even have great reviews.
No,
It's got mixed reviews on
I'm just
Steam,
saying.
61%.
Yeah.
But
people are
eh,
just hungry for anything right now.
and part of it is like the people are mad that the bosses aren't harder. And so the studio did come out and say, hey, we're going to add some. We heard you guys. We're going to add some more bosses, some harder bosses, some tougher things to do. And so that's why I think people are still like, yeah, I'm just going to buy it and play it. And again, it's co-op. So people love Monster Hunter and they love their Palico.
Well, 8 million of them love it enough.
That's crazy.
That's so nuts.
Kudos.
Do another kudos clip. Do we have a different one?
No, we have the Kudos one. We have an old Kudos one.
Is it not on the board?
It's not on the board. I can get it on the board though.
That's
If you want
okay.
to start, I'll get it. I'll add it to the board. Just so
Kudos
you
is
hear
our
it.
positivity segment. I just want to mix it up. I think we need a new kudos
Okay.
bumper. I love the current one. I really do. But anyway, kudos this week. I've got a quick one. It's Redudos. Peterson, you already mentioned this. How much of Invincible have you already watched?
I'm caught up. I just want one episode
Oh.
left, and
Don't
so
spoil.
I won't spoil it.
No spoil.
Wouldn't
Someone
dare.
gets their head exploded with a punch, I bet.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Shocker.
What are you talking about?
Jenna and I watched the first 3 episodes of Invincible and it's phenomenal. I do have to say, having the perspective of having read the comic books, it's even better. If any of you are out there like, oh, I don't want to spoil it for myself, or should I spoil it for myself, or you're like kind of debating it, do it. It will
Yeah.
not bespoil your experience with the show whatsoever. It will only enhance it. Oh my god, the things that are happening, like I know they're gonna happen, and they still blow my mind. They're
It's
still so
awesome.
fun to watch.
It's awesome. The last two
So good.
episodes that I've watched were so good. The last one, it's the second to last for the season. Amazing. You'll know it from the comics, but you'll know like what they're doing. But it's awesome. It's so good. Guys, this show is genuinely one of my favorite shows on streaming, on TV or whatever. I love it. It's so good.
What I really love about it, and seeing where it's going, and with the comic books and everything that I've got to say, is that it has the feeling of a show that's completely planned out. It had the feeling in the comic books that it was planned out, the whole thing's top to bottom. But then you'd get to the end of each book, like each collection there, because there was like 7 or 12 or 13 collections, and the author and the artist would kind of discuss what their thought process was going into it, and you kind of realize that they're just kind of making it up as they go. And it's so incredible that all these storylines, once they got a little bit of lead time, once they got a little bit of a heads up, they were able to plan some stories out in advance once they were like, oh, we're going to get to finish this series. But yeah, I don't know. And watching those, some of those stories are just starting up right now. And I know where they finish. Some of those characters that are introduced now, I'm like, I know where they end. And I just am so delighted to be, it feels like I'm reading it through again now. So
Nice.
I
So
love it
good.
so much.
I wish I could spoil it right now. We could just talk about it, but I won't.
Well, you could talk to me about it, but Jenna would
Yeah,
get to
I don't
go.
want Jenna
Yeah.
to hear it. Yeah.
All right.
Wait, hold on. Check this out. I have kudos 1
it.
and kudos 2. I don't know what they are. Here's kudos
I
1.
do.
Oh yeah. And then the other one. Oh yeah. We
See,
only did a new kudos one because the sound quality of those
it's
is so bad because
so
it's so
bad.
like 90s.
Yeah, it's like
But
ripped
I
off
love
of VHS.
it. I
Yeah,
love it.
I forgot about them.
it's kind of vintage. We gotta mix those back in.
Okay.
All right, we have 2 more kudos. Do you have any?
I don't have one. I had nothing good this week. I got a cold and I worked a lot. I don't know. It's just
Your
normal
eye
week.
infection turned into a body infection.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. It like crawls around your skull like a sentient being.
Don't
making
say
you
it like
sick.
that. I'm not even able to sleep tonight.
Oh my god.
Like,
Yeah.
like you were gonna sleep tonight anyway.
My kudos is for Sudafed, which is meth junior, meth light. I can't sleep
light.
and I don't eat, so it's great. Good
But
for
at
you.
least I feel slightly better.
Yeah.
All right, we got a Foodos. This is something I found, and I posted this in our Discord Good Eats chat if you want to see like what the jar looks like. It's called shallot sauce, and I found it at my local Asian market. It's got a picture of a cow with a chef's hat on it, I believe, holding some shallots. Is that
Yeah.
an accurate description?
Let's see. Oh yeah, it's a cow with a chef hat holding some shallots. Yep.
There it
Yep.
is. That's what
Got
it's
it.
called, though. It's called shallot sauce. I don't know that there is a brand. It's not in English.
Bullhead. It's called bullhead.
Bullhead shallot sauce.
Yeah.
You guys, it's
freaking
essentially
delicious.
oh, it's game
It's so
changer.
good.
I just picked it up randomly because Jenna and I both love onions. We love onion flavor, and it's essentially just minced shallots suspended in soybean oil with a couple spices.
See, I want this. I need to go get this.
But it
week.
is strong, like tiniest amount, and you put it in a sauce. I put it in a I started a fried rice with it in the oil because when I make fried rice, I do peanut oil, sesame oil, and now this. So I have like this nice little oil blend that I drop the rice into. Oh my
man.
god, the rice came out so fucking oniony. Oh my gosh, it was like very low effort, and it just has like this very strong. I told Peterson I described it as a potato chip onion flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got like sour cream and onion. This is the onion flavor. Oh, it's so fucking good.
So
So
good.
get it. It's like anytime you use an oil, you just use this.
Is it spicy at all?
Mm-mm.
No, no,
Just
no.
onions.
It does have like a little tiny amount of chili powder, like in the ingredients, but it has no heat to it. So yeah,
Yeah, this is amazing. I want this so bad.
yeah. How close is your nearest Asian market?
Not far. I mean,
Nice.
I think if I drive from my house, it's 10 to 15 minutes.
Is it pretty big?
Yes, very big.
Fuck yes. See, that's where you got to get the big ones
They'll have it. They'll have it.
because I was not looking for this. I just was walking down I was actually looking for tamarind paste, which I
Ooh.
still haven't used.
I don't like tamarind actually.
I've
so-
never used it or tasted it before, to my knowledge. So I'm gonna.
Once you taste it,
that.
you'll be like, oh yeah. Like I
Oh,
think you'll
this
know.
tastes like
I think you'll
something.
know.
Well, I know that the shallot sauce is good. And then the last thing on our kudos, Jenna and I watched a show called Death in the Family. What was it? What, Ruby Frankie?
Devil in the family.
Devil in the
Family.
family.
The
Yeah.
fall of Ruby Frankie.
This was a YouTube. Have you ever heard of the YouTube channel 8 Passengers? Is that what it was called?
Hmm.
This is the mom that was behind that. And it's kind of an expose. You probably heard that she's in prison for life. I don't know if it was just a thing I was following because I follow Utah news, and she was here in Utah getting arrested and all this shit.
Yeah.
But long story short, a mommy vlogger kind of lost her shit and then got swept up into this other lady / she's like a fake therapist. What do you call those? It's like
I don't
she's
know.
like a
charlatan.
Charlatan. There you go. A Philistine. And she was the two of them were essentially just like routinely abusing her youngest children because she thought they were possessed by the devil. So she went from this like mommy vlogger with 6 kids, and she was always just like posting constant videos about their lives, to like that kind of all fell apart, and then eventually it all descended into what was her ultimate downfall. And you see it in the first like couple of minutes of the documentary is her youngest son, and it's so fucked up. Oh, it's so fucked up. He's got like duct tape around his ankles and his wrists, and he wanders up to this guy's house. It's like one of his neighbors because he'd escaped from his house because he hadn't been fed in days. He's skinny, just like very, very, very thin. And he rings the doorbell, and he looks like he's about to just run away like a deer. And the guy, this sweetest old guy, I can only hope to have the type of energy this guy has. He comes out, he goes, "Hey, what's up?" And the boy's like, I have 2 requests. Actually, just one request. Can you take me to the police station? And the old guy's like, "Why don't you take a seat over here?" He's got these 2 seats in his front patio, and he just like goes and sits down with the little boy. Dude, it is so fucking sad and enraging. And
Yeah.
but it is fascinating because, like a lot of the cool documentaries that Jen and I have been recently enjoying, like that one, the Mother God one, where they interviewed a number of members of the cult that were still actively like active true believers, and so it gave you like a ton of insight into what was actually going on. In this instance, her chicken shit husband, who is such like a coward that he just let this all happen, and when she's like, "You need to move out for a year or just move out," he's like, "Okay, yes, ma'am," and he just like moved and let his wife just live there, just abusing the shit out of his kids. And when his other kids would reach out to him to be like, "Dad, I think like something's up," he'd just ignore him because his wife told him that he wasn't allowed, dude. And so I think he got bullied by the documentary crew, or maybe just like cajoled because he's such a coward, into giving up like all of their raw footage,
Like everything,
for like a decade. And so you get so many people, you get so many videos and so many looks into like the insides of their life, like the behind the scenes of this, which I think is really important. I think anyone who spends significant time watching these type of content on YouTube and or on social media at all, and feeling like jealous, I guess, envious, or
yeah, my life's not perfect. Like,
right, watch this shit, because everyone's fucking lying to you. All of these people, their life isn't what they're portraying it out to be, and hers was so very far from what she was portraying.
Yeah, it's on my list of things to watch.
They also interviewed a lot of like the neighbors and their own kids and the dad and like all these different perspectives on it, which I feel like on top of all the footage they got really added to the story. And it was wild to see everyone's perspectives and how much certain people were manipulated. And yeah, it was a trip. Way more like information than I thought we would see in it. So definitely
Nice.
recommend.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah, it was so good. I just remember multiple times us being like stoked to watch the next episode because it's just good. Like even if the content matter doesn't super interest you, it's just really well presented.
Well, I'd say I'd say at least for me, the documentaries that I enjoy the most do have like kind of a dark side to it because, like you said, it's just so fascinating to be like, what is going on?
Yeah,
because it's just so opposite of anything I've experienced that I'm like fascinated by it,
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that is The Devil in the Family. I didn't say it, but it is on Hulu, right?
Yeah, Hulu. Yeah.
Jenna?
Yes.
Yeah, it's on
think
Hulu.
so.
Yeah, I get so many ads for it that I know that it's on Hulu.
I bet they advertise it pretty heavily here in Utah.
Oh, I do. It's like almost every ad that I get. All right, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Here it comes. Drop
Oh,
it. Drop that
great.
beat.
World
Ugh.
premiere.
Feel free to
of the
sing along
Jenna
if you want,
Sands
Jenna.
and Peterson duet.
Sing, Jenna. You know.
No.
Y'all ain't ready for
I
this. Hitting up Steam with the demo so clean.
Steam Fest next Fest Steam.
Hitting up Steam with the demo so clean.
Steam Fest next Fest Steam.
JD
What?
and Jenna Sands playing demos on Steam.
Steam Fest next Fest Steam.
Hitting up Steam with the demo so clean.
So
Steam
clean.
Fest next.
Oh wait,
next
hold up.
Fest
Yeah, let's
Steam.
redo this. I think it's off a little bit. We'll just start.
Steam
Oh,
Fest
we're still
next.
going. Okay, we're still going.
Next Fest Steam.
Oof.
Demo.
Demo.
Peterson lives to capture. Honestly, me too. Jenna's singing in the house. Like, I'll just come running with my phone up, trying to
She's like,
capture. a
stop
recording of
it, Jonathan.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna get
No.
another beat.
No, you're not.
All right.
Never.
Next Fest, if you guys have been living under a rock, or I don't know if this is your first episode of the podcast, welcome, but also sorry. Next Fest is a triannual celebration of upcoming games on Steam. I don't know why they do it 3 times a year. They just do. And there's just a billion demos, and we go download a ton of them and play them, and it's just that simple. And I have by far the most with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
What? That's
was a
more than me
busy
and Jenna
lad.
combined.
I was a busy lad. Some of those are ones that I did play with Jenna, but yeah, it
Okay.
was pretty busy. So
And I don't even know if there's going to be much crossover, to be honest. We'll see.
no, I doubt it. So let me pull up. Let me share.
You need to
I will
start.
start. Yes, I will start with a game called Solar Punk.
Oh, I did see this one.
Okay, Solar Punk. I think maybe I talked about this on the podcast like a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I did. This is the one I talked about like many years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago. Because I am in the open world survival subreddit, which is a teeny tiny subreddit with very little discussion. But I will tell you the best part about it is that every single new game like this shows up there. And so new developers that are like, I'm working on this game, I'm really excited about it. They'll post something and I can throw it on my wish list and wait for 2 years. And in this instance, the waiting paid off. It is if you guys are familiar with Raft, feels a lot like Raft.
It looks like it.
It is a floating island survival game. So instead of like Raft, where you have a raft that you're floating around, the islands are floating in the sky, and you can build a airship and fly from island to island. I think you build it, but instead of building on your airship like you do in Raft, you're actually building on the island. So you kind of pick an island, I think. My immediate impressions were, and you can see from this video, it is very basic, from the jump, which I love. For a survival crafting game, when you jump in there and there's a million menus and there's a ton of grids and all these other things and options, it's very frustrating. Whereas with this, it was like there's rocks and sticks. Get to stepping. You got to make an axe, and then you can hit other things with that axe. But it was just a really slow, basic start, which I appreciated. It did feel a lot like Raft. The building in it is surprisingly good. For a game that is this early stages for an open world survival game, I was stoked with the building. And the farming I found was much more immediately important. I feel like in most survival games that I play, farming it's like something you get to like eventually. This one, it was like you got to start farming right away because you need all these things. And so that was cool. I like a game where you start farming, and that's like a big part of it, versus just cutting stuff down or foraging, which it feels like most of the ones I played, you spend most of your time foraging for the first couple hours, right? Valheim, Raft.
Yeah.
All those. But no, this one. Anyway, so I built a ship. I built an airship, researched some stuff. I absolutely loved it. This is an instant wish list for me.
Oh,
I'm going to lose a lot of time in this game. I think it's out this year. It seems like they've done an amazing job. They've kept it simple. They haven't really deviated from the formula that Raft kind of set up. And it's very cartoony in that way too. But yeah, I think it made improvements. Like you can see here where he's chopping the wood. It's not just like that little animation shows up in the same place. It shows up where you chop the wood. So there is some new attention. There's some attention to detail in this that I really appreciate.
Was there any enemies to combat, like to fight, that you came across? Because I'm watching this and I'm not seeing any like conflict. Is there enemies in it?
I thought there was, but maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I thought there was, but I don't know. The flying is pretty funny. It was when I started flying my ship, I was like, this sucks. This is way hard. But I was like, you know what? Flying a giant balloon in the sky where there's like wind and things is probably pretty fucking hard. It shouldn't just fly like a helicopter or like an airplane. So yeah, the flying's a little difficult. Takes some getting used to, but yeah, Solarpunk. This is a win for me. I like this one. I wish listed this one.
I thought you might play that, so I didn't.
Yeah, that was a good call. This is so my bag. And then you build like solar panels and stuff to power everything because you're in the sky and you gotta use solar power. All right, what do you guys? What's next?
Jenna, why don't you go? Why don't you do one?
Okay, so I played a game called Deck of Haunts. And basically, you get to manage your own haunted horror house.
Oh, sick.
Okay.
It kind of reminds me of like Clue, like you're almost like looking down at a board game with different rooms in it, with like these randos coming in. And basically, you get to decide how you want to torture them.
Okay.
You have one room that has a heart in it. And like if they get to your heart, then that's how you could lose the game. And then you draw cards, and so you have different you have 3 points to do certain actions, and so you have to decide what cards you want to use. And you can scare people, you can hurt people, you can create the room to have certain effects, like to be really cold or increase tension, which I never fully understood what that did, but I'm sure it had some sort of factor in it.
Just a violin playing.
Yeah. And then you have a building phase where you add rooms to the building. So, because sometimes certain effects will cause them to panic and run. And so if you set up like a maze or a way to keep them trapped in the house by the way that you built it, and then you use those effects to keep them around, it's kind of cool. I didn't play it a ton because I don't think it's super compatible on the Steam Deck right now. And I don't know if it will be in the future, but at some points I kind of struggled with the controls to be able to build on the house and stuff. So I don't know if that'll just be worked out or what, but it was pretty fun. I liked the concept a lot. So I might keep an eye on it.
How did you end up? This is so different from anything you've ever played. How did you end up with this, playing this? What on earth?
I don't know. I liked the deck builder and building part of it. And I always like Clue. It's just a little bit of a darker version because you're not solving a mystery, you're hurting people.
Making
but
it.
You're
Mhm.
causing chaos.
yeah.
It's like Clue, except for not like Clue at all.
So it's actually not really at all. I don't know. I just did.
Dude, this is awesome.
Dude.
No, I'm glad. I'm not like I'm just I think it's awesome. This is so cool looking, and I do love the deck building card aspect of it.
Yeah, it was
The-
pretty fun.
The description of this game is pretty funny. That last sentence. Use strategy to build your mansion and expand your dark influence, turning your home into a terrifying, inescapable nightmare. So that's what Jenna was looking for this time around.
This
Just
is
like
her
Clue.
first-
That's how
She
you
led with it. She's like, "This is the first game I want to talk about. This is the nightmare game." So do you want me to go again then?
Yeah, go again.
All right, I'm gonna go with Void War. Void War, for a couple of our listeners, is going to
Oh.
make you very happy because this is what we mentioned last week. This is a Warhammer, or I'm sorry, an FTL clone. It's like got a Warhammer skin on it.
I didn't ever look at it. This is
Oh, dude, let me
exactly
get
an
into
FTL
the
clone.
gameplay because it is like literally FTL. FTL, Faster Than Light. You probably heard me talk about. It's like one of my favorite games ever. It is a top-down ship simulator, a spaceship battle simulator, which feels a little bit more like a tabletop game
Yeah.
than a video game. It's very simple. You have different systems on your ship, and you end up on like a basically a playing board with an enemy ship, and you select where you want to attack their systems, and you're playing defense at the same time, managing your systems. I honestly don't know a lot of great ways to describe FTL, other than you just kind of got to see it. This game, FTL came out 13 years ago. This game is just the exact same fucking thing. It looks
Honestly, I'm
they
watching
changed,
it,
like,
and I feel like I know
nothing.
exactly how to play this game.
Yo, that was the best
I know
part,
exactly
dude.
what's going on.
I was like, you pick up any first-person shooter, you know how to play it. You pick up this game, you know exactly how to play it because you played FTL. It was very familiar.
funny.
It was kind of a new. It was nice. It's nice to have a new take. This one was more gothic, more bloody.
Yeah, the ships are like,
Look, the ships have fucking horns.
yeah.
Like, come on. Yeah, you got like battle horns on them. Like, come on. The other cool thing is you can actually select where your systems go in the ship. So if you buy like a shield system, it doesn't just go into a preset slot
shield
in that
slot.
specific ship.
Yeah.
You can put it where you want, which is kind of, I think, for strategy, it really blows the game wide open because FTL, all the ships had dedicated slots. So if you bought a shield thing, it was going in this room every time. But in this one, you can experiment. I think like, I put all my systems by each other so my people can run in between them. Like, it adds a decent layer of strategy to the game. And I imagine there's a lot of other little tweaks like that they've made.
Well, it's like different type of strategy, right? With FTL, the ship placement of all the stuff is assigned. So that's your strategy, is like, how do I use this ship specifically successfully? Whereas this one is like, there is a strategy of building your own, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. So this was an instant wish list for me, obviously, right up my alley. Void War, I think it's coming out later this year. I imagine it'll be cheap like FTL, and yeah, I'm gonna play the shit out of this.
Honestly, it's like worth a play. Like, again, I love FTL. Obviously, not as much as JD does, but I have 143 hours in
You're pretty
FTL.
close. You love it more than most people.
So I just haven't played it in a long time. So yeah, this is like, yeah, I'll play this. Like, I loved FTL. I'll play this too.
Fuck yeah.
Can anyone compete with Jonathan on FTL?
Yes, Phil.
Oh, we have
Oh, really?
listeners
Probably played
too.
it more than me, and he has way more of the achievements and
He's
stuff.
played it than me and more than JD and I combined.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm like a newbie compared to Phil. All right, who's next? And
All right,
what
I'll
do you
do
want? What do you
one.
want me to
I'll
pull?
do one. Pull up. Let's start with Monster Train 2.
Oh, I'm so glad you played this. I did download it. I just didn't get a chance to play it.
Okay, and that's okay. I played Monster Train 2. This was the last demo I played. I was like, I got to play one more. And I had already downloaded this one. And I knew I was going to try it out because I liked Monster Train.
Ah, it already looks so good.
It's here's what I'll say. Oh, my overall review, it's middling. It's underwhelming because
Aw.
it's the same exact thing, except for it seemed so much harder than Monster Train. I played just the demo and you just like play through it quick.
Yeah.
I didn't win at I didn't even come close. I didn't even kill anybody. I was just getting smoked constantly.
Interesting.
It's good if you want more Monster Train. That's what this is. There is, if you just look at it, there is no difference. It is the same. You got the same train setup where you've got. If you're not familiar with Monster Train, you are going through.
It's a deck
like
builder.
a battle between heaven and hell, and it's a deck builder where you have a train that's going along these tracks. I don't know why they just like that's the theme they went with. The train has levels. The bad guys show up on the bottom level. You play your cards, same type of thing. The cards have assigned value that they're like action point value. You start with 3 action points. So you play your cards. Once all your cards are played, they do their attacks, you do your attacks. When it all resolves, then the monsters move up a level. Bam, they go up a level, and then your guys on the second level fight those guys. So you're kind of setting up the levels, and then the top level is the heart of your train. And if they destroy that, you lose. And it also attacks them back. And so you're not like defenseless once they get there. But it is exactly Monster Train 1. They're honestly like no difference. It's like if it was more like an expansion, to be honest, because the gameplay is exactly the same. The interface is
And it's
exactly
been
the
a couple
same.
years since
been
Monster
a
Hunter
few
came out.
years.
So you'd hope that they would have done something
would've-
different.
No, and it's just like new characters, so if that's what you were looking for, right? It's new characters, and there's a couple new like mechanics with the like different factions that you're playing. But overall, I would say a little underwhelmed because I was hoping for just like something extra, like a different spin on it. And there is no spin on this. It is exactly the same game. So I didn't wish list it.
You didn't.
I did not because it wasn't different enough for me to get excited about it. I played it for a little bit, played through it a couple times, and I was just like, I don't know, it's like fine. And so it just didn't have anything new, which is what I wanted. Again, if that's not what you're looking for, if
You want
just wanna
more
play
Monster
Train, then you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. But for me, I wanted a new spin on it, new take on it. So I didn't wish list it. Monster Train 2. Let's see. When's it? It just says coming soon on Steam. So that could mean anything, or it could mean nothing. So
Okay.
yeah. I mean, this was the one I was probably the most disappointed by this one because I wanted to love it because I played a lot of Monster Train 1. So
Yeah. Do you want me to go again and then have Jenna go?
yeah.
I have
Yeah.
so many. All right, this one is After Blast. After
Okay.
Blast. It's a dope name. This is it feels like sci-fi Doom. It is
Okay.
kind of like a fast-paced Doom-like roguelike. I would say it was kind of like what was that one we played?
RoboQuest?
But it definitely RoboQuest didn't have the same with this. You see, you've got like a chain and a hook where like you like drag yourself toward things. This feels like you have to be like just going at the bad guys constantly and just shooting them, and it felt more like Doom than RoboQuest, although it is a roguelike. So you're getting new guns, you're getting new weapons, you're upgrading constantly. You find different random weapons. My main takeaway on this one, and I did wish list it because I thought it was interesting, and it was clean. Like the gameplay on these, if it's not perfect, you're gonna notice because it's like go, shoot. And if like something's off or like it's just janky and it's not satisfying, like you'll know immediately because the game wants you to be going nonstop. And this game does a really good job. My only main takeaway was like, I need to play this in co-op. I think the two of us or like Jenna.
Is it
and
a
I-
co-op game?
It is. I think it's co-op, but I don't think it's couch co-op. Let me just
Online
check
co-op
really
is what
quick.
it says. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I wasn't able to play it with Jenna, but I think you and I could have a lot of fun with this. Like the way we had with RoboQuest. I love the idea of a Doom or a Doom flavored roguelike.
Yeah. I can get
Because
behind this.
getting all sorts of different weapons and upgrades and damage modifiers and buffs and whatever. It's fun. It's tight. It was cool switching between all the different guns, and
I
you
think
just-
this is an interesting take on both of those games. It does seem like RoboQuest Doom combined.
yeah.
That's what it seems like.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm okay with that. Yeah, this seems
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, the hook, the constant, the mobility. RoboQuest did have a decent mobility, but this one is, with that hook, it's just constant.
You've got to have good mobility in these games. If
Yep.
it's like fast and there's enemies and you're jumping around, like that's a part of the aesthetic is like just movement, go, go, go. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so that's After Blast. I did wishlist this one. I think Peterson and I could have a lot of fun with it. Jenna, what's your
Nice.
next one?
All right, keeping with my dark theme here.
Here we
What's
go.
going on with you last week?
I don't know. Dice with Death.
What on earth is on in October? Dice with Death?
She is in a very creepy mood.
Jen and I have some
lately.
stuff to talk about after this episode.
See,
Oh
does
my
it say
God.
something there about it being based on an old timey game? Yeah, old medieval game.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought was pretty cool, and I don't know why they don't mention that on the description on Steam, but this is a strategy roguelike dice builder, really. It's pretty cool. I did run into some bugs because sometimes you can't get it started because it's like pick a grave, and I'm like, cool, this lady's, and it's like that start button just is gone. So I didn't get to go back and like play it again because I couldn't get it to work. But basically, you have like two different people you can select that have different dice abilities, and then you're trying to like score as much points as possible. And once you find your pairs, you have to remove the dice, and then you get to earn certain dice that do certain abilities. So I had this one dice I kept rolling that would roll in another magical dice, and so it gave me an opportunity to get more pairs because I got this additional dice in. It's pretty simple, really easy to pick up and play, but just kind of like a fun strategy
Seems like
game.
Balatro dice.
Yeah.
Combat Yahtzee Balatro dice.
Holy
With
Yes.
fuck.
Bill and Ted.
Was this on your radar, Peterson?
No, I've never even seen this.
Holy shit. This looks and the game, like the animation is awesome. I love the
Oh,
way the
yeah.
dice rolls. It like comes up toward you and then does a little flip and goes back down.
And you
Oh.
roll it into this like bowl thing, and sometimes that will like fill up with lightning or like some other effects too, which is really cool.
What?
Okay.
Did you wish list this?
Yeah.
Oh, Dice with Death. Oh, this looks sick.
So yeah, you died and you're just playing games with death now. With Bill and Ted. With Bill and Ted. Bogus
You know.
Journey.
How else to get a pastime?
Yeah, we're all
Yeah.
dead inside.
Best three.
Ah,
out of five.
Jenna, what a great find, dude.
Thank
Shit,
you.
Dice with Death. I
Dice
gotta-
with
yeah, I'm
Death.
gonna add this
That-
to my wish list.
The release date, it just says 2025.
Ah.
So again, that could mean something or nothing. You don't
And this
know.
was
The-
great on the deck, I assume.
It was. I just ran into a bug with getting it started sometimes, which I assume would happen regardless.
Yeah.
And the
Okay.
demo is still available if you guys want to try it.
Yeah, a lot of these demos, even though it's not Next Fest, they leave them up. They just leave the demo available to play.
Yeah,
'Cause they
that's
get a
what I
lot of
noticed.
publicity with Next Fest that they're like,
Mhm.
yeah, if people want to keep playing it, let's just
What
keep
a great
letting them.
marketing tool. Why would you ever pull down a demo that you spent time making?
I have
Unless
no
you're
idea.
like it's really not representative of the game anymore.
So did you notice we talked about this, but there are reviews for the demos now. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
No.
So this one doesn't have any reviews.
I
I don't know if they
wanted
pull them down
to-
after Next Fest, but
I wanted to give a review to one that was so awful, but we'll get into that. Actually, should I just do
Okay.
that one?
yeah, do the crappy one.
Oh my gosh, it's so sad because Jenna and I were both really looking forward to this one. It's a co-op game. It's called Primal Planet. and
yeah.
you play. It's like you're like cavemen in like a dinosaur world. And if you play co-op, you play as like one person as a caveman. The other one's this little dinosaur partner that runs around with him, which was awesome. And the game started out pretty strong, and it's just a side scroller co-op game. And
Metroidvania platformer, right?
Metroidvania roguelike. Yeah, really fun. We played this game for about 20 minutes, maybe less, because for whatever reason, and maybe it was just me. My attack wouldn't work whatsoever.
So you were
enemies coming at me, and it didn't matter where I stood. If I was like, I'm too far back, or my swing is like, I've played a few side scroller games in my life. I have a general idea of how I should be standing when I attack something with a melee attack, and it never worked. And I showed Jenna multiple times, even on like there's like butterflies flying around and you can hit them. But I would just stand there, just swinging right at the butterfly, like, and my animation was going straight through it. It's like a pretty wide, sword animation. See where he's killing this thing?
Yeah.
It literally never happened. Like I would be, and they would just right there. He just started attacking me, and then I'd die. This happened like 4 or 5 times, and
oh my gosh,
So it's just me, the little dinosaur holding down the fort.
Yeah.
Bite.
Just her little tiny bite.
Oh,
Yep.
so you control the little dinosaur?
Yeah, how cute is that?
Nice.
I was really, really pumped for this game, and I wanted like a co-op Metroidvania would be so tight, and so I was really disappointed.
Yeah, so I don't know if that was just a bug that I ran into or a glitch, because I am watching a gameplay video where it's working just fine, and I doubt that it was an intention. Like they don't want your sword to work at all.
Like the sword hitting is so hard.
And we did I believe we restarted the game. Like we closed it down and restarted it, and it just didn't matter.
Wow.
So that sucked. I didn't wishlist it. This was a game that I thought looked really cool, and it sucked. Primal Planet was not wishlisted for
That's
me.
a bummer.
All right, who's next? Who's got what?
I got one.
All right. What
Okay, let's see. I will go to Aethermancer. Aethermancer.
I had this on my list too, but I don't know if I.
Yeah, no, I told you should play it because this seems like
I
a JD
downloaded
type
it.
of game. So
yeah,
Aethermancer is a creature collector. It's a creature collector JRPG turn-based. Your guys on the left side, their guys on the right side, and you have abilities. I took a lot of notes about this one. This is a Pokemon game, like straight up. It's a Pokemon game. You have monsters. There were some slight difference. So the monsters have like their elements, it's like water, earth, air, fire, right? Pretty tropey. Their abilities, there are different attacks you use will gain some more of that energy style. So if you do like their basic attack, this one will get 1 earth and 1 water. And so then you use those to do their bigger attacks. The combat was actually pretty challenging. A lot of these games when you first start are like just smoking everything. That was not the case. I was like, my guys were getting rocked. And it is a little bit more challenging than a Pokemon game because when your guys die, they truly died. Like they were dead. You had to go revive them. And there was like this revival stone or awakening stone, I think it was called, or rebirth crystal. I wrote down a rebirth crystal. And you'd go to the rebirth crystal and you'd have to actually revive them, but you could only use it once. There was 1 rebirth crystal at the beginning of every level, and you could only use it once. So you could use it to rebirth a guy who had died, or you could use it to create a new guy. So by getting new guys, everyone has a weakness. You use their weakness to attack on them. Like if they were weak to fire, you use a fire attack. They would get staggered. Then your hero so a little bit different than Pokemon as well, because your hero, like your main character who's collecting the monsters, he also can do moves and attacks. And one of his moves, because they each get 1 turn, and his turn would be gathering their soul. So you don't actually collect them, you just collect their essence.
Okay.
and you have to have like an essence amulet to collect them. So you weren't like, I played for a while and I wasn't like loading up on monsters. It wasn't like I wasn't catching everything. I had to be pretty specific because I'd have like one amulet and be like, okay, I got to find the one that I want to try to get. And you know, like I one that has, so it's a party like building system because like I need a healer. So you're
Mhm.
like finding the one that heals and you're like, okay, I got to get his essence. So next time I go through, I can pick him up. So it was challenging. Like you had to be strategic. You weren't blowing through fights. And if your guys were getting knocked out, there was like real consequences to it. Like you had to make some strategic decisions at that point. Also, one of the things where it was different, where it's more like a traditional JRPG, you'd level up each monster and they would gain new abilities as you leveled them up, or you could level up their abilities, or and it would give you like 3 to pick from. It'd be like, do you want to level up this one, or this one? So it was kind of like roguelite like that in that scenario. And so you'd level them up and it would like, they'd have different, like, this is an aura ability, this is a usable ability, or this is like this is something that he just, it's a new trait for this guy. And when they would die, you could change their abilities when you brought them back, which was also kind of cool. Let's see. You could also, there was equipment. So you could give the monsters equipment, which is also a little different than like a Pokemon. You give them equipment, which, you know, would buff them and things like that. Really fun. I would say there were my nits are that there were some clunky elements to it. There were some terminology that I just didn't understand, even when I was playing for a while, and I was like, I don't get this. So there was the user interface had a couple small issues that was a little nitpicky about. But overall, I thought this game was really good. It was a good take on like a creature collector. Like you're using creature collecting to build up your party. And there was no shortage of different monsters you were fighting. So like, you know, you and I could play it and 20 minutes, 30 minutes in, we would have completely different builds, you know, group builds and parties and stuff like that. It was good. I would say I got to the boss and I was like, I don't know how I would beat this boss. Like he's smoked all my guys. But when you lose, because it is a roguelike, so when you would lose, you would kind of go back and you would be a little bit stronger coming into the next fight. And you could make a guy, you would go to this town when you lose, and there's like different merchants and stuff. You could go and like make one of guys like a permanent guy that he's like your starter, essentially, like your starting Pokemon. You could choose one. So honestly, good game. I did wish list it, and if it's the right price, I would think about playing it. It was challenging though. That's what I'll say going into this. This was not an easy game. Way harder than I thought it would be, but great game. Like,
dude, I've wishlisted it now. Based
well
on your
thought,
recommendation.
well
That
thought
sounds
out.
So cool.
Yeah, everything seemed really fleshed out. Like this game seems like it's ready to go. And let me see, when is it? February 10th, 2025. So I guess it's out.
Yeah. Dude, it's sick. I
Well,
love
it
that.
just says coming soon still. The full game says coming soon. So I don't know. This says February 10th,
I'm
but
so
it's not.
desperate for creature collectors. I'm playing sex creature collectors. So
Hey, whoa. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
Just saying. I like this one. I'm gonna do Asgard's Fall next. Asgard's Fall is Viking survivors, not vampire survivors, Viking survivors.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yep.
It is, it's super simple. I feel like it cleans up the survivor formula. It honestly, this is gonna sound weird, but my first thought was it felt more like a dance than survivors where you're just like constantly running around and just avoiding damage and stuff. This one felt more like a dance. Is that weird to say? And it has this really unique system where you are the new things that you're gaining. You put them on like a grid. I don't even know how to describe it. You just kind of have to play it. Basically, they have a really unique take on your leveling up system that you're kind of seeing here, where you place them on like this grid, and if they're close to another item, it like levels that item up. So you kind of have
Oh.
to strategically. So it adds there's a mini game to leveling up. It's not just, oh, I picked this and I'm 20% faster, and now I'm 60% faster. There's kind of a little mini game to it. I beat the final boss, the second boss, which was really boring. Like it just was like a tank, and you just had to keep dodging the same moves over and over again. But otherwise, yeah, it was awesome. I beat the first level on my third playthrough, but that's not to say it's not really hard. It is very difficult, just like most bullet hells. Yeah, I really liked it.
What would you pay for it?
Ooh, not more than $10. I don't know what it's at.
Honestly, these games should be $5 because they're
it should
not.
be $5.
It just says to be announced on the release date for this.
Asgard's Fall.
Okay.
Yeah, so check that out. Let's take a pause, and I'm gonna go check on what Jenna's doing.
Pause break.
Pause break. Everyone go get some water. Okay, we'll hang out. Just take your time. Yeah, no worries. No rush. We're kind of like on phone. Jenna's computer died, so we'll just hang out.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I could figure out a good way to describe this system, but
What do they like power each other at all?
yes, that's exactly how it works. So it's like they oh my gosh, where is this stupid thing? Where is it? I can't seem to. Oh, it's this. So it's like there's some that need to have this. It needs to like be touching like 3 or 4 to like actually start working.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So once you get them all, so you put it down there, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna get this big buff once I get like 3 things around it. But yeah.
Okay.
All right. Jenna is back now, and we're gonna put you on the spot. Jenna, what's your next game?
Okay, so my next game is called Nine Kings.
Okay, here we go.
It's another. You played this one too?
Yes.
Is this it? 9 Kings?
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Jen, I got to hear your review.
So it's another roguelike. It's pixel. Okay, it's pixel graphics. You start out with I think 9 tiles, and you get to decide how you want to build your kingdom with these set of cards. So I think you get 3 cards to choose from. And
yeah, you always have
you
3.
can kind of decide so you get to decide if you want to put out an army or a gun or maybe a catapult or something. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was super fun. It took me a second to figure out you could use your mouse to help direct the ammunition towards the enemy.
Oh.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I'm not sure if I'd wishlist it. I don't know how determined I was to defeat all 9 kingdoms, but
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it.
So like Jenna said, just a grid. You have just a 9 grid for your kingdom. You get your castle, and then you build armies, and then there's support tiles that'll buff them. It'll every round gives one of them, if it's touching it, gives one of your armies 1 hit point more, or gives it one extra excuse me, or 1 extra unit in the army. And as far as I could tell, there was no unit limit. There was just massive armies that you could get to at the end. And then it would show how much damage each building did at the end. So that was kind of nice because you could see how successful your different armies were. There's support units, ranged units, melee units, tanky units. So you could kind of build it out. But you do a fight, and then each round you could play one card. That was it. Like, so you had to kind of decide what you wanted to play, because you can also level up each of your tiles. So you kind of had to strategically kind of build your 9 grid to make it like optimize it, I guess. And so you play one card, and then you go through, and then you earn a card. There's different kingdoms, there's different like kings, and they had a whole different like style of gameplay. Like the King of Blood, they were all like, imps, and there was like blow up stuff, and like they were, and then there was like a magic one where they were all magic based, and then so there's different types. But each kingdom that you would battle, each fight, like if you're battling the King of Greed, it was like the gold ones, you would get a King of Greed card when you beat them. And so your army, your kingdom specifically, could be built of mostly other types, and so you're kind of like trying to figure out how they play well together and that sort of thing. It's an auto battler, so, and then there is one element, like Jenna said, you can like do mouse stuff, like you can click to like launch your catapult, and like your castle has its own attack, so you're controlling that one. But the rest of it, auto battler, you just like, it just goes, and when it's done, it's done. This is kind of surprising, because this is the one, Jenna, that I put so much time into.
This
I
Is
played-
it really?
7
Here's
hours
why.
though?
Here's why. I played 7.5 hours of this. A lot of this was, though, so I worked from home this week because I was sick, and I'd be in a meeting. I just have
Looks
this
like
game
a
on
good meeting game.
because I'd have a meeting as an auto battler. So I just like have it go, and then I'd win. Like when I get to a point when I could, I'd just go in and like pick my thing and upgrade my city. But for some reason, this game, I really liked it. I maxed out every single army that we could play. There was still a few more that weren't in the demo. This was an absolute wish list for me. I could see myself just like 100%ing this game and just doing all the stuff that there was to do. I just, for some reason, I just loved it. You can obviously build as you go through, your kingdom can get a little bit bigger, and so you're just like some strategy to building it. But man, I don't know why this game was like this, got its hooks into me. Like this is the type of game that I needed at the time, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like the second monitor game.
yeah, Nine Kings is very simple, very easy. There's some strategy on how you build it, but man, I just had a good time with this game.
Okay, so one that Jenna and I played together was called Corridon. Corridon? I don't know. It was an action. It's this action RPG.
Don't say I don't know, because I brought this game into our lives.
Jenna was the one that found Corridon. It's like it's an isometric view like Diablo, and you play as a person. Also, you can transform into a beast at any time, and also if you're in beast mode and the other person
co-ridden,
core ridden, but it's got 2 R's.
I don't know.
Oh no, it
Maybe
does.
you're
It only has 1 R and 2 D's. I wrote it
Co-ridden.
down wrong. Co-ridden, because, and that's appropriate, because if you are playing as a person and your partner is playing as a beast, they can ride you.
Oh yeah.
And then you can run around while they're like doing like swinging their sword, and you're doing your beast attacks. And then you can also, there's like NPCs, and you can be like, get on my back. I'm a beast. Get on my back. And now you have, which I'm not sure if I remember ever having seen this before in a game, where you are basically like hiring mounted units for your, like on top of you.
Hmm.
So you're like giving a piggyback ride to someone with a bow and arrow so they can shoot. It reminded me of like Halo, when you would have the Marines in your Warthog, because they would shoot. It was so fucking cool. Jenna, what did you have to say about this?
Yeah, that's the main draw for this game for me, because I so desperately wanted Jonathan and I to play and just like be the rider on him. So
yeah,
he could
that's
just
so
like
funny.
take charge. It definitely, I think, is better to battle separately, but every now and then at certain moments, I do
together.
think there's a benefit to being together. And you also get to like earn new beasts to morph into, and you get to choose which ones you want. So I always am a big fan of mounts.
Wait, can you be a human or a beast?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can switch back and forth
Oh,
instantly.
okay.
So like you
nice.
run out of like AP or whatever action points in beast form, you just switch to a human and just start hacking shit up like that.
Got it. Okay, I like this. Okay.
Yeah, so you get to kind of like after you defeat certain bad guys, you get to like take on their animal forms. And I thought that was really cool. So I had fun. I thought it was a really unique concept. I really just appreciate and respect any good mount system. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just neat that it's just like instant. You can just jump on your buddy or have like an AI jump on you or just it's just seamless. So very much kind of got a Diablo hack and slash feel. But yeah, Co-Ridden was dope. This game I did wish list this one for sure.
It's out right now. This game is out.
Oh shit.
It's
Okay.
$20 on Steam. So if you both have to have it, $20 is probably a lot.
I don't know for what it is. I think it's all right.
All right.
All right, but I do now that we have I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to play this or find a demo for this or any video. Jenna and I played a game called Keep the Heroes Out, which what I'm learning right now on YouTube is that this originally was a board game, which makes a ton of sense
Okay.
why we didn't like it. So it was not great.
Oh.
It was a good concept. This is a grid map with rooms, so each like room is like a grid piece, and they all have different heroes and loot in them. And you build a deck that lets you move or attack or do special abilities, and heroes keep dropping into your dungeon, and you're trying to kill them or keep them out. I will say it was so complex from the jump. Like it was impossible to understand. And Jen and I were like, well, we'll just start playing it and maybe it'll start to make sense as we play. No, it was hard to get through the tutorial. The great art, music, the tech of it, like the game works flawlessly. Like it looks great, sounds great, plays great. It just we were like the whole time like, what the fuck is going on? What should we be doing? What are we supposed to be doing here? So that was the problem, is that overall it was just kind of challenging to get into. And I think because of the complexity of it being based on a tabletop game, I don't think they really did a good job of that transition into video game space. So yeah, Keep the Heroes Out was not a winner for us. How about you, Peter? So what else you got? How many more do you have?
I have 2 real ones.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll do Rail Gods of Hystera.
Oh, dude, I wanted to play this one, just didn't get around to it.
Okay, so this is the one I spent the next most amount of time in. I mean, 3.5 hours.
So sick.
I played this one night with my friends. I was like, hey, I got to play a demo. Actually, I was booting it up when they hopped on. And I was like, oh, it's co-op. Do you want to play with me? And so like, okay. So they downloaded it. You start off, and I would say the start is a little rough. So we were like, what the freak are we supposed to be doing? This is a survival crafting game. It's like that top-down isometric view. You can move the camera, which is interesting in these types of games. It's like just a choice that they've made that seems a little bit different. You go around and you craft. Obviously, you craft yourself an axe and a spear, and you got to fight. You have a train. This is a what are they called? The Cthulhu types of games, a Lovecraftian game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you have
that was my first impression immediately.
You have a Lovecraft train. It is a train that is powered by a big tentacle type of monster. Okay. And you have to, when you kill enemies, they drop human meat, essentially. Like it's called like human mush or something.
Okay.
And you have to feed it human mush to power it to go.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised Jenna didn't play this, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, she's like,
human mush right up her alley.
I love it. Yeah.
Human mush sounds kind of good. We're gonna eat that this week, JD. I don't know how we're gonna get it.
We're gonna make some human mush. I know
where
to find some.
So the crafting is actually on the train itself. So you have the train and you actually build on it, and it's very similar to like you can just like add a new train car. Excuse me, add a new train car, and you would build the wall. It's just like a flatbed, and then you build walls around it and a ceiling, and then you put like your crafting tables in that. I will say that it's cool, but it's a little annoying because then your crafting tables are so far away from all of your like stuff. You have to really like use the space well, because when you first start, like it's not utilized at all. So like your chest is way over here in the starting cart, and then you're 2 cars away. You got to like run back and forth. It's like this, 2 full screens away to get to your chest to craft your stuff. So I think there's some, they could make that easier. Also, like any crafting game, please just do proximity crafting, or like you can
don't
craft.
make me keep checking.
You can craft
chests.
stuff if you don't have it on you. Like if it's in your chest, you can just use it. Every crafting game in existence should have that now. Unless it's like the Minecraft crafting system where you're actually like building it on a grid. This is not that though. You should be able to just craft from your inventory or from your train's inventory. Okay, so then you ride the train, you move the train, and there's like just a linear map on top, and it'd be like, oh, you're coming up on a town, and you get out, and then it's like a Diablo type of fighter because it's got that view. We're just going through, and there's bad guys, and you're fighting them, and they hit hard. You die pretty easy, pretty fast. It was much easier when we had a full group. Like when we had 3 people on, it was much easier to kill them because they're not easy to kill. They're not like 1-hit deaths. And they, like I said, they hit you. They hit super hard. They drop stuff. You go through and loot. The one thing, it is Lovecraftian, so the longer you run around, the crazier you go. You start to lose your sanity. And the penalty for that is it is your inventory. You can't see what your inventory items are. It just shows a question mark. Your guy can't identify it. So then you can't use it. Like if you have stuff to craft a healing potion, you can't craft it if you're going crazy because it'll start to like phase out one thing at a time. It's random. And so you're like, oh, crap. There is a system which I thought was pretty clever and fun because you're like, I don't want to run around now. I mean, you can get stuff to like decrease the sanity, like make your insanity level go down.
Yeah.
But what you do is you use that insanity to level up your character. You go back to your train, and there's a thing on your train. You feed your train your insanity. And
not just your human mush.
That levels your character up. So you're like, it's giving you therapy. I don't know. But and then it levels your character. So then you have different abilities, like, combat abilities and that sort of thing. It was fun. It took us a minute, and I was like, so dumb. But once it doesn't hold your hand very well. So I was like, I cannot figure out how to get these new crafting recipes. I know I need a bunch of this rope. I should be able to make it. I don't know how to get new recipes. And then I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. I have to go to this thing and research it. And that was like one of the last things we did. We were like struggling through this whole time. So once we did that, then the game opened up. We could craft everything. And like, you've got tons of crap, just like auto crafting. So you're like, I'm making arrows and I'm making 100 arrows. And my biggest complaint about that is you couldn't cancel a crafting thing once you started it.
Oh.
So Steven goes in and he just puts craft max. And it was like 300 arrows. And it was like, we just had to sit there and wait. And it took a long time, talking like 15 minutes. So you ride the train around. Honestly, I had a ton of fun playing this. It was a good game to play. It was good with friends. I don't think it would be as fun solo. With friends, good time. Great time. There's a couple small nits I had with it. Hopefully they can fix some of that. I saw a lot of it in the reviews for the demo. But overall, this is a solid game. Like, it's got the bones for a really great crafting game, survival crafting game. So if you like survival crafting, don't sleep on this. I would definitely put it on your list of games to watch. I did wish list it, but this is a watch game for me. Because we'll see if they fix anything from the demo. It says it's available 2025, so we don't know when. Hopefully they put a little bit more work into it, release it. So
Okay.
what's it called? Rail Gods of Hystera. That's what
Rail
it's called.
Gods of Hysteria.
Yeah.
So I played another, I think this is the last game that Jenna and I played together, called Monaco 2. It was I think it worked out well for us. It's a top-down heist co-op sneak game.
Okay.
Oh, did Jenna just leave again? Oh, we had her
Mm.
for a sec. I thought it was really intuitive. It was pretty fun. You're just kind of sneaking around. It's kind of a top down, but you can rotate your camera a little bit. And you just kind of run around and try to get the objective, which is a big question. And that was honestly kind of my biggest gripe with the game, is like the objectives weren't super clear. It wasn't like you're going to sneak
Oh.
in here and steal this one thing. And maybe that was just my misunderstanding with the game. But we played it for like, I don't know, like an hour or something, and we snuck around, we picked up some objects, we picked some locks, ran around this room, snuck around some guards, hid in dumpsters and stuff. But ultimately, like at the end of the demo, we were like, what was the point of that? Like it was it just didn't feel like it had a strong point. And I don't know, Jenna, did you feel like the objectives were kind of, you said you were like, you didn't feel like you knew what we were doing.
Yeah,
This
I
is
just didn't
Monaco
understand the
2.
point.
Yeah. So I don't
That's
know.
kind of weird for a game like this. Usually they're like the objective is the main thing. Like they're like
Yeah, they're
very
really
clear on what
highlighting
you're
it.
supposed to do.
Yeah. So, and it's just like, I'm like, why am I here? Like I get there's guards and I'm in like this building, but it's not like sneak through the museum and steal the Declaration of Independence or steal the Mona Lisa. It was just like, sneak around and the guards are going to chase you and here's some lasers. And it's like, so the game, it's just like a well-designed game with no purpose is how it felt. Which
Yeah.
sucked because like I feel like we don't get a lot of stealth games, and this one did a pretty good job with the stealth. But yeah, Monaco 2, I feel like it was being promoted quite a bit on Steam as well. And
This reminds me a lot of that. If you remember, I played a game called One Armed Robber, where I would played it with my friends, and we would play a decent amount of it. It's kind of like, it seems like that, but that game actually had a very defined purpose. So that's interesting.
yeah, maybe I missed it because I mean it's a sequel, and partially I think maybe that they just were like making it for people who had already played Monaco 1, and so it's just like a lot of assumed knowledge that we didn't have when we jumped into it. But
Yeah, maybe.
I
But
don't know.
these games should be, like you said, should be very
Should be
clear.
slapping you over the head.
Like it should be at the
with why
top
you're
all the
doing what you're
time.
doing.
Like what's your
Yes.
objective?
Yeah, right there. Steal this thing or sneak this thing. But
Like that should not go away. It
there's
should
like a
be on your
floating
screen.
that you see. There's like that floating present, and like
Yeah.
you just walk over to it, and then it's like floating on top of your head. I'm like, why? What is happening? What are we doing here? I just don't get it.
Okay.
And it seemed very I don't know, amused by itself. So that was kind of lame. What else do you have any? How many more do you have?
Me, one more.
Okay, why don't you do your last one? I have a couple more, but they just weren't that great. So I'm only
Okay.
going to talk about
Well, yeah. Let me blow through one. I'll give you
I
my
have two
one.
more. I have two more to talk.
I
I
downloaded.
just have one.
Okay, we'll do this. I downloaded PUBG Blind Spot. I was like, oh, a PUBG game. It was like a top-down shooter. I couldn't play it. It's a multiplayer game, and I couldn't get into a game. I tried multiple
It's just
times,
broken.
and I never. No, it's just like it said, because you need 10 people, and it said 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. I never got 10 people into a game, which is not great.
Wow.
But this game, if you're interested, is Rainbow Six Siege as like a top-down isometric view. That's what it is. So whatever, I didn't play that. Okay, so I did play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown. Love
Nice.
these. This came from Phil. He recommended it in Discord. It seemed like a game that I would like. So pull up Tactical Takedown, JD.
Okay.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown.
Oh, I did look at this one.
This was a good game. It's a simple turn-based combat type of game. Reminded me just lightly of Into the Breach because you've got a grid, you've got your guys, they've got their guys, and it plays like a board game. You jump in, you do your attacks, and then when you're done, they do their attacks. It's not as prescribed as Into the Breach. Like they're not telegraphing their moves for you, but you kind of know like what they're gonna do because it shows you. The UI is really good. It shows you if they can get to you. Like it'll show you if they can attack you when you move a certain place. The 4 turtles play really different, which was really interesting to
Ooh,
me.
that's cool.
Yeah, they had like really different styles of gameplay. Like one guy would be like straight up attack. Like if you kill a guy, you get another attack point. Like it's like kill, kill, kill. Some of the guys were all about like mobility. You're moving them, you're hitting them off the map because the map has edges and they can hit you off of it. You have 3 lives. You can knock them off of it to kill them. The other thing is the map, it kind of forces you to move, and it does that by eliminating sections of the map and opening up a new section. So it wants you to have the feeling of like you're running down this street.
How similar to XCOM is this? I'm kind of getting like XCOM vibes
I
out of it.
mean, kind of. It's not, there's no cover base or anything like that. So it's more board gamey than XCOM because it feels like a board game. I mean, it's like a piece with a stand. Like they want it to look board gamey. So they all the characters play different. It has there was like you really had to figure out like what their strong points were. I really liked it. I played through all the characters. They all had like in the demo was really good because it had a full mission for each of the characters. Played through all the characters. I'm excited to see what they do with this game. It wasn't particularly challenging, I would say. I'm sure it will get more challenging, but it was just kind of fun to just go through and whoop up on these guys and like plan out how you were going to attack. I didn't really come close to losing at any point. I died a couple times. But I don't know, it's a fun game, good game. Like I said, interested to see. So I did wish list it. Turn-based tactical combat. If you like that, or if you're obsessed with Ninja Turtles, which I'm not, but they've been doing good things with them lately.
Some people are.
If you're into it, check this game out. It was good, and play the demo. Honestly, like you'll get a good feel of what this game is through the demo. Because, like I said,
I love the art style of it, though.
All 4 turtles you could play. How long did I play the demo for? 101 minutes.
Oh, that's decent.
This is like an hour and a half ish. Yeah.
Huh.
So yeah.
Okay, I've got one more. Then Jenna will go, and then I actually have 2 more. So
okay.
First up, this is StarCrafter. I was initially kind of worried. I was like, you're gonna do 2 survival crafting games. You're gonna only play 2 games the whole time.
That's all you're gonna do. Yeah.
But I was able to walk away, and I was really grateful.
Well
but
done.
StarCrafter is incredible. The concept is, Peterson, you know what a Dyson sphere is, right?
Yeah.
So the concept is, if you guys don't know what a Dyson sphere is, it's this like sci-fi idea that you have a civilization so advanced that they have built a structure that captures all of the energy of their local star. And so it like surrounds the star and just gathers all that energy efficiently. Imagine if you just were able to surround the sun with a giant solar panel and then all the energy that left the sun was just collected and you just lived on the outside of the solar panel globe. That's what you build in this game. You start on just like a planetoid essentially, and you can see the star out there. and you are just doing a crafting game. You can modify the environment quite a bit and fairly easily. One of the first things I did was just take my gun and just start drilling down, just straight down until I found lava. And I was like, oh shit, I gotta go. I couldn't go back up. So I started going across, and I just like broke out some other part of the planet in the surface. So you can really tunnel and dig easily. You can really reshape the planet as you see fit, which is great because the first thing you're going to start doing is shooting rockets up at the star to start building your Dyson sphere. And I didn't get that far. I really didn't, because I knew I was into it. I knew that I was enjoying it. You just have like one main gun that harvests resources. It destroys terrain. And
Which is so funny because it looks like a tactical shotgun. Like
it really, they're
yeah.
all guns. Everything's a gun in any video game. The building's great. The crafting is solid. And it seems there's like a really, like, you know, with Planet Crafter where you can just see like all the things you're going to unlock and all the different like technologies that are coming. It's not like it's hidden from you necessarily. That's how this is. Like you can keep scrolling down and seeing all the different techs, the tech tree that you're going to unlock and all the abilities you'll have. I don't know where this is when this is coming out, and I don't necessarily know where it's going, but you can see in the trailers, like after you start really getting into it, your planet, whatever, you're just constantly launching these rockets at the star endlessly, and it's just kind of got that like clicker game style of adding. You're just constantly adding more and more and more because you're trying to get those numbers, just like with Planet Crafter where you're trying to jack up the oxygen and the air pressure of your planet. This is the same kind of concept, but more of it's just a different take on it. And
this game is out right now.
Is it?
It just came out a few days ago.
So I'll probably wait for it to go on sale. But yeah, you saw when he like looked up at the star and he was able to see like his progress and all the things that were orbiting around it. It's really cool. And then you can hop on a ship and just fly to another planet. You can like make planets.
Nice.
Like you can like get technology that lets you make a planet, and then you go to that planet and like turn it into another planet that's launching all these things at it.
All right, God, whatever.
Exactly.
Build a planet, shoot rockets at the sun. Like what's so weird about that?
Dude, we're like a 50, 60 years away from that level of technology.
Right there.
All right, who's got any left? What do we got left?
Jenna, you said you had one, right?
I have one left.
What's your last one?
My last one is called River Towns.
No, this is more of a Jenna game.
Here we go.
Separate.
We're almost there. River Towns, 2 words.
Yeah. So
all right, this looks like a Jenna game.
Yeah, this is definitely on my wish list. I played it a bunch. It was perfect for the Steam Deck, and basically there's like a certain predetermined track of potential waterways, and you get to decide where you want to start building your city from. So you choose a spot, and then you have to add these like tile pieces to it. But the tile pieces are actually parts of a town, and it's almost like doing, what is it, Jenga?
Mm-hmm.
Or not Jenga.
Yeah. No, Tetris.
Yes, that's it. It's got Tetris shapes. And so you're trying to build this city in the like smartest way possible. And it's so cute because when you put down a tile piece, like you can see all these little mini people just start bouncing around on the tile square. And you can create bridges over the rivers so you can build on the other side. And it's very casual. It's very relaxing. There's not like a huge objective. And I didn't find it to be very challenging. So maybe it progressively gets more so as you play. It's kind of cool because you have a map. So you just like unlock these certain areas. And so each area is like a little bit of a different vibe. And you can reconstruct trees, and it was just really, really fun. I had a really fun time playing it.
River Towns.
So this is on your wish list. And did you play this on the deck, or did you play it with a mouse and keyboard?
Deck. It was perfect for the deck. Yeah, I liked it.
Okay, that seems like a really good one. Peterson, do you have any left?
My only one was put it in the no section. I downloaded and this is the biggest the biggest thing I downloaded was the Dune Awakening, and I already told you this about this, JD. It was just the character creator and a
So
benchmarking. Dude, this
stupid.
thing was like several gigs. I will say, I gave it a downvote because
Nice.
here's
That's
how I judge my
bullshit.
character creators. I want to make a character that looks exactly like Jean-Ralphio Saperstein from Parks and Rec. And they didn't have the hairstyle at all. So thumbs down for that.
No, lame. Stupid.
But they did kind of good during the benchmarking. They kind of went through and you could see some of the stuff you could kind of build because it's a Dune crafting survival game. So it has me interested. I was disappointed I couldn't play anything, but it looked cool, JD. It looked really cool. But yes, I wish I could have played it.
Ugh.
So,
Well.
anyways, that's it. I don't have any other games I played.
Okay, this is my last one. This is actually the last one I played, so it's perfect. Castle v Castle.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, everybody. This is for everybody. Everybody on this podcast, everybody listening. This game is for you. You will enjoy it. Go play Castle v Castle. It'll kind of remind you of like a basic one-on-one card game, like
Okay.
Uno, kind of. The gameplay is simple. In fact, this game has so much confidence. It doesn't even do a tutorial. It doesn't explain shit. You just start playing. And it's kind of hard to grok it. It's at the beginning, but then you're like, oh, I'll just keep pressing buttons until you get it. And you just get it. Basically, you've got a card. You got you and then the bad guy. You both have a castle, and they
This
are
is a wall.
yeah, it's just and it's a height thing. And so your castle could be like 11 blocks high, and the CPU's castle is 6 blocks high. So you have to do 6 damage to kill him. He has to do 11 damage to kill you. Very basic. The sound design is so fun. Like when you knock the castle down, like it's just fun, and the animations are fun. And you've got 3 different currencies, and there's bricks, magic, and attack, and they're all used to power certain cards. Either your castle goes up or your castle goes down. That's simple. That's basically the game. Is if you use a card to build your castle up 8 blocks, and then the enemy does a card to do it down 3, and you just kind of go back and forth. You're mostly using those cards to buff each other. Long story short, this is probably one of my favorite games I played.
Really?
Yeah, and it
Okay.
seems like a Balatro level game where you can just like mindlessly fall away and just be like, whoa, how long did I spend playing Castle v Castle? Because the loop is so basic but so fun.
Okay.
And the art is so cool and quirky, and the cards are dope. And you could see this could easily be a tabletop game. This could easily be like a card or just a card game. You could just play a card game version of it, but with all the extra fun and the art. It's just cute. It's enjoyable, and I think everybody should look at it. Everybody should go look at it, because I think I can't imagine a soul playing this game and not enjoying it.
This is very simple. Like this is a very, very simple game.
Yeah.
This could be an app. Like this could be
Yes.
on
This
your
would be
phone.
great on a phone, and I wouldn't be surprised if it does show up on phones. And if you guys are the demo, I think is still up. Just go play the demo. It's just one of those things. You just start playing it, and it just starts to click, and then you're like, damn, it's so good. So Castle v Castle was my last one that I wish listed.
Okay.
And yeah, it was phenomenal. So that's it. Guys, hop on Discord. We definitely didn't play all the games on Next Fest that you played. So jump on and share with us the games that we missed, the ones you think we should check out, because we want to see all of them. And yeah, let us know if you played any of the ones that we played. But that's Next Fest Steam Fest. Neps demo.
Dice of Destiny.
Nope. Not doing it this week.
Oh, Dice of Destiny is this game that we're not playing this week because Peterson played a million other games. He played 7 hours of Nine Kings.
Okay. Yes. I also genuinely I picked up another game, like not Next Fest game. Like I started playing a game that I had downloaded already. So I did not play a game about digging a hole yet. I'll play it this week. Honestly, I just forgot. Like I ran out of time. Like I was busy. And then I got to yesterday and I was like, oh, shoot, I haven't played it. So I guess I'll just take a mulligan. So I'll play it this week.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, Peterson will have a review for us for about a game about digging a hole next week. And that's it. All right, to play us out, we've got Your Mission. Soundtrack, what can I say? I lost a lot of hours of my childhood listening to the soundtrack while I played Toy Commander.
It's dope.
I'm JD, logging off.
This is Peterson going AFK.
And this is Jenna. See you next Fest Steam.
See you never.
See you next
Never.
trimester. Okay.